Hi everyone and welcome back to LL Sports TV. Hope you're all doing well. Next Tuesday, the 29th of April, Arsenal take on the French champions PSG in the first semi-final of this year's Champions League. It's going to be a massive game. Without question, Arsenal's biggest game so far. Now, Arsenal did beat PSG back at the Emirates back in October, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
During the league phase of the competition, beat them 2-0. But since then, I think it's fair to say PSG have looked a lot more impressive.
Yep.
They changed the way they play. They brought in some new players. But yeah, so it's going to be a great game. But I think there are 5 ways in which Arsenal can overcome PSG in the semi-final of the Champions League. We did a similar show prior to the Real Madrid game, and that one worked out well. So let's hope this is a great omen. And with me to discuss it, it's my honour and pleasure to introduce my niece in the building.
We're
Kenya,
back.
how are you doing today?
Yeah, good. How are you?
I'm all right, man.
Yeah,
I'm
not
Looking
too bad.
Forward to the game?
Yeah,
Well, that goes without saying.
I'm really excited. I'm really
Have you got
excited.
a ticket?
I'm trying to get a ticket, so fingers crossed I will be there. Fingers
Because
crossed.
I've been offered tickets, man, but
Why? I'm not,
you're talking
nothing
like
mortgage,
hundreds of pounds.
Nothing mortgage price.
But I'm still
you know what I
working
mean?
on it. But
Yeah.
if I don't get a ticket, the next best thing, we'll be doing a watch-along for AFTV.
Yeah.
I think we're at the Box Park.
Yeah,
is
at
that
the
right?
Box Park.
Which one is it this time?
We're going to be at Wembley.
Oh, Wembley, yeah. Shout out to Eugene and all
Yes,
the man
big up
from
Eugene.
Box Park. So yeah, that's the backdrop, man. 5 ways to beat PSG. Let's start with the first one. What have I got here? I've got them down here. So right, okay. So I think the first one is quite simple, really.
Yeah.
And it's quite obvious. Maintain tactical discipline and game management. So in a two-legged semi-final, especially against a team like PSG that have, let's face it, they've got quality.
Yeah, all over the pitch. Yeah.
Arsenal will need to have a game plan. They're going to have to stick to the game plan. They're going to have to remain disciplined, cut out the unforced errors and be focused for the whole game.
Yeah.
They've got to know when to sit, when to press, and you know what I mean? Even the manager, down to him, in-game management is going to be crucial, substitutions, stuff like that. Kenya, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I feel like if you look back at when we beat them 2-0, it's because of how well organised we were. So we straight away realised if our midfield run things, they've got nothing. And that's exactly what we did. We said to Miles and Timber, stick with your wingers, stuck with them, didn't get a sniff. So you're absolutely right. Organisation is key. And I feel like, you know, you can't really... A lot of people, you can't go into cup competitions and be like, right, we're just going to outscore a team, because that's how you lose games. You can do that in a one-off game in a final or something, but over 2 legs, you're absolutely right. Tactics are so important. We have to be organised. We have to do our job. And that's why I have belief. If we're organised, we do our job, we can win. Simple.
Absolutely.
But you're
and
right.
William Saliba, no PlayStation before.
Yeah, the whole team.
No PlayStation.
Whole team.
Early nights, rest up, because you're focusing your concentration. They got some seriously good players, man.
Yeah, man, look.
Barcola on the wing, what's it, the guy from Georgia?
Kvaratskhelia, yeah.
Kvaratskhelia.
Doué,
Dembele.
Barcola.
I mean, Dembele's got something like 32 goals this season already. He's been a revelation. And he didn't play in the corresponding fixture because apparently he fell out with the manager and Luis Enrique dropped him.
Yeah.
Since then, he's come back into the team and he's been absolutely on fire.
Yeah, he's been pivotal.
Make no mistake, man. These guys, they're a good team. Doué, did I mention him?
And they're high on confidence. Yeah, they're high on confidence. I mean, they're invincible at the moment in their league.
That's right. Yeah.
They've already won their league. So for them, it's like, well, we've already finished business in the league. They're chasing a treble, I believe.
Yeah, they are.
Or a quad, but I'm pretty sure it's a treble. And like, they've got their eyes on the prize. And look, they have the opportunity to, like us, create history for their club. It's 2 clubs that are very similar that haven't actually won the Champions League, but you almost look at it like, how have these 2 clubs not done it? So, as you say, they're up for it. But as long as we're organised, we're compact, we do our thing, the likes of Declan Rice, the likes of Saliba, Kiwior, Raya, our full-backs do their job, I have faith that we can get over the line.
But it's all built on that foundation of discipline and focus and concentration. So that is key.
Exactly.
That's why I've started with it. Secondly, look to exploit PSG's defensive weaknesses. Now listen, as good as PSG are, they can be touched.
Yeah, of course.
We've seen it. We beat them already early in the season. I said 2-0. I must say, although, you know, they were missing a few players, it wasn't like we beat them fairly comfortably.
Yeah, we were very comfortable.
Right?
We should have actually won by more as well.
Exactly, yeah. And yes, they've improved since then, and yes, they were great against Aston Villa. But Villa did score, what was it, 3 goals against them?
They scored 3 goals, and if they had scored one more, I think that made it on aggregate 5-4.
Yeah.
So they were very close to, and you know, it's really weird because PSG started that game very relaxed. I mean, Hakimi scored. I think Nuno Mendes scored. We'll talk a bit more about them, but like they were in the driving seat. Second half, Villa just turned up massively, and you saw how like frazzled they were in the back line. So they can be got at for sure.
Yeah, you can hit them. If you can win the ball back, you know, and capitalise on defensive errors. Arsenal got the pace. We saw what Rashford did to them. We've got similar kind of explosive pace in the likes of Martinelli, Saka, people like that. So, PSG, I guess what I'm saying is, as good as they are, defensively, they are quite vulnerable. Yeah. And if we activate that high press, win the ball back high at the pitch, and go for it, or even hit them on the counter when they're attacking, we can create some goal-scoring opportunities. Yeah,
for sure. I feel like, you know, I want to big up Nuno Mendes because I think he's been probably the best left-back in the world. And you saw what he did to Mo Salah over 2 legs. He was just incredible, locked him up.
You're better than Mark Lewis Kelly. Wow.
yeah.
No, I hear you.
Miles coming for that though. Miles is coming for that though. But
I hear you, man.
You know, they can, and as well, him and Hakimi are chipping in goals. I think when Hakimi scored the other day, I want to say maybe it's I don't know how many goals in the Champions League, but it's quite a few now. But I think that's also a weakness because they want to get forward as much.
They do.
So the likes of Martinelli and Saka, you're kind of being afforded a bit more space, especially Martinelli. You're being afforded a bit more space to make those runs in behind. So as well as they want to get forward and they're really good defenders, they do have their moments where obviously they want to progress a lot more with the ball. So, you know, as you said, there's things to exploit there for sure.
She makes some very good points.
Be on it, mate.
Number 3, target key PSG midfield areas. So basically what I'm saying is we've got to try and disrupt PSG's midfield flow and limit the influence of their key playmakers. That's crucial. Now, Arsenal's midfield, obviously Partey won't be playing. But a lot of the responsibility for this is going to fall on Declan Rice. And the reason why I say that is because the man's engine is unbelievable. I personally think that if this man wasn't playing football, he could easily be running a marathon. When's the London Marathon? I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't run it on Sunday.
He could be playing rugby or something like that as well.
Because this guy is that kind of marauding number 8, where he's up and down, putting in tackles. We're going to need that big star if we're going to beat PSG. And Odegaard's going to have to play his part in this as well. And whoever is a defensive midfielder, number 6, he won't be Partey, he won't be Jorginho.
I think Declan Rice will play 6, or he'll play a pivot with Rice and Marino. So unfortunately, we're going to miss Marino up front, but he'll still probably target those areas. But you're absolutely right. I think if, again, you go back to that 2-0 win, we won that 2-0 because Declan Rice, I remember that game. He ran that game from start to finish. He just ran all over Vitinha and João Neves. They couldn't even catch up with him. He was incredible. And like you said, that midfield is like the heart of their team.
It is.
So if you lock that off, they don't have much service. Now look, Kvaratskhelia and Doué, they can create something out of nothing. But those are small margins. If you lock off the source, nothing comes. Do you know what I mean? Lock off the tap, no water coming out.
I mean, this is not rocket science. Most football games are won by the team that controls the midfield.
Exactly.
So, so that's very important. Things like closing down passing lanes, winning individual duels, preventing their playmakers from having a real influence on the game. Those are things that Arsenal. I mean, you're not going to stop them completely. I wouldn't have thought so. But if the likes of Rice and people like that do their jobs, then we can slow them down in that way.
Exactly.
Right, number 4, utilising pace and directness on the counter-attack. Now, we touched on this earlier with the likes of Martinelli and Saka. But yeah, listen, Arsenal do possess, when our wingers are on form, Martinelli and Saka, and Ranieri as well, they can transition quickly, and we can exploit spaces in behind. And those fast, fluid counter-attacks with the pace and the directness and the skill, that will give any defence problems, let alone PSGs.
You're right. I think recently as well, we've actually got much better at counter-attacking. I mean, look at Brentford. I think maybe, not in Ipswich, what other games have we played? I guess against Palace, a bit of against a run of play. So, you know, we've gotten much better against it. Sorry, Real Madrid, the winner.
Yes,
Martinelli just countered. It just ran down the other end. So we've gotten much better at it, and that used to be one of our biggest strengths. And you're right, they're going to get caught out. And the likes of Donnarumma, he's a keeper that a lot of people speak really well about, but he's got his weaknesses. I mean, look how Havertz out-jumped him to score that, score the opening goal. And I was like, yo, man, Donnarumma's like 6'9".
Yeah, he's
Havertz,
massive.
I know Havertz is tall, but Donnarumma's massive. He's probably one of the biggest probably the biggest goalkeeper in the competition.
Yeah, I can't think of someone taller.
Yeah, him and Courtois are probably I'd say he's bigger than Courtois, to be honest.
Wow.
So, you know, you can get at that, and as you said, directness is so important. I think
100%.
PSG are kind of similar to us, where in the sense that they do want to do a lot of intricate passing as well. But one thing about them, their attackers are direct. They just shoot. And that's what I really like about them. Due, he's like 18, the kid just shoots. So we need to be the same, just direct.
You're right about that as well. The two teams kind of have a similar style. Now, I'm aware that Arteta apparently is a big fan of the way Luis Enrique manages teams. They've got a similar type of style where they like to control possession, pass, and then boom, transition quickly into attack. Now, that could be a very interesting matchup. I think PSG normally, if I'm right in thinking, they do a 4-3-3, but it's like a diamond shape, and out of possession they can switch forward, so they're quite fluid.
Yes, they're very fluid team.
Yeah, so
we have to, for sure. What I would say is that we can be, as we've shown over the last 2 seasons, we can be very pragmatic.
Yes.
Whereas PSG, they don't want to be like that at all. They want to be very on the front foot, very attacking, high possession. Whereas like we don't mind that. Like we've seen it when we played Spurs this season and last season. We said, cool, have the ball. We don't care, and we won. It's because we just did our job. We went on a counter each time, scored our set pieces, etc. So, yeah, we are very alike, but I feel like as well we can also be quite pragmatic, and I think we might be, to be honest. But
like that. And 5, and this is an area that we can exploit to our advantage. We did so against Real Madrid, capitalising on set pieces.
Yes.
We saw it, man. Declan Rice, 2 free kicks against Real Madrid. In that game, by the way, Arsenal were dominating possession, looked the better team. Yeah. But it was Declan Rice who broke the deadlock with those 2 free kicks. Up until then, we was having a little bit of trouble breaking them down. So set pieces, free kicks, corners and things like that are very important. Arsenal, you know, we've got a good record with corners and set pieces.
Saka scored his free kick, his first free kick against PSG. Although it wasn't the most glamorous, but still, doesn't matter. He scored it. Man. Just kicked it across the floor. We saw against, in our last game against Crystal Palace, Kyrgios steps up, great set piece from a free kick. We're one of the best teams, if not the best team at set pieces in general. And as you said, that is so important. We saw Real Madrid say how, in that after the first leg, how they were practicing to defend against our set pieces because of how dangerous they are. You think about when we played like Monaco and stuff. Remember they left like 3 players behind to kind of upset us. So as you said, we have to be on point. That's one of our strongholds.
And especially in tight games like
that makes a difference.
The game on Tuesday is likely to be. Those kind of things can be decisive.
Exactly.
Like it can break the deadlock. It can be the goal that, you know what I mean, you need from nowhere.
Look at Man United when they won the Champions League. I think it's Ollie. He just scored from a corner. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Those are the things, like your set pieces. It's small margins, but it's a massive strength to have if you get it right. So as you said, we should capitalise on that. And they've got a quite small team compared to us, I would say. Right. I'd say we've got quite a big team. Like when I think about their big players, like Vitinha's not very big. I don't know how tall.
Marquinhos, what is he?
Marquinhos is probably, the 2 centre-backs are probably 6 foot.
Vitinha and Marquinhos.
But I'm not sure how tall Hakimi and Nuno Mendes are compared to like...
Yeah, they don't look that tall. No.
So when I think about it, like Declan Rice is tall, Marino's tall, do you know what I mean? I know Saka and Martinelli are quite tall, but they're more on like the 6 foot side. So we have quite a big physical team.
You're right.
So like you said, we've got to take advantage of.
So those are 5 ways. Let me just go through that again very quickly. Like I said, first of all, discipline, focus, got to be on point. Look to exploit PSG's defensive weaknesses. Target PSG's midfield areas. Utilise pace and directness on the counter-attack. And there is one other one that I've not mentioned, but it's kind of obvious, and that is this. Should really be a 6 or a 5A, if you like. In that game, we're going to get chances.
Yeah.
We have to take them.
Every
the
single one.
finishing has got to be clinical.
Exactly.
Because, as we were saying earlier, it might amount to
Yeah.
an odd goal here or there. This
Exactly.
game, it's going to be tight. So they're going to have the finishing boots on. They've got to have the finishing boots on. They've got to finish their dinner.
Look, I see it as this. You win these 2 games, you're in a final. You win 3 games, you've won a Champions League.
There you go.
That turns a forgettable season into an unforgettable season. And I feel like you're so close to doing something amazing. And this team, they do deserve something amazing. They do deserve to win things. But stay focused for 3 games, you've done it. Do you know what I mean? Stay focused for the next couple of games, you be locked in, and you could be on the verge of something amazing. So as you said, take every chance. That's the difference. Look at that last Champions League final. Borussia Dortmund spent about 60 minutes cooking Real Madrid, didn't take their chances. Vinicius Jr. takes his chances, scores, gets them to win that Champions League. That's the 15th one for them. Chances are so important. Take every single one.
Sounds obvious. It's easier said than done. But at the end of the day, goals win games.
Yeah,
it's
exactly. If you don't score, you don't win.
Yeah, so that's it. So yeah, so in closing, those are the 5 ways myself and Kenya think that Arsenal, if they use those, if they, adhere to those 5 principles, they can definitely beat PSG. I'm looking forward to the game. It only leaves me to ask Kenya your prediction for the first leg.
I don't know, man. My heart is saying 3-1. My head is saying 2-1. But I think we're going to win. Yeah. That's what I'll say.
You know what, 2-1, I was thinking now, because I think PSG, they're very dynamic, they're very skillful, they got goals in them. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to be able to sit here and say 2-0, but I could see PSG nicking a goal. So yeah, my heart says
you've got to pray, guys.
2-0, but my head's kind of saying 2-1. But I agree with Kenya, I do think we'll win. This is going to be very tight, man.
Yeah,
it's going to be
very
tight.
Close.
I think they're going to be more difficult than Real Madrid.
Yeah, 100%.
Because they've got more energy, they've got more confidence.
Better team.
Yeah, the all-rounder. I mean, Real Madrid had the Galacticos.
Yeah.
This team, they're young, they're energetic, they're confident, they're hungry.
Exactly.
And that presents a different type of opposition.
Opponent, yeah,
you know
you're
what I mean?
right.
So, very much looking forward to it. Ken has gone 2-1, I've gone 2-1. That's what we think. What do you think? Leave it in the comments, let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching the video, I really do appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, please like, share and subscribe. We are out. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care.